Here's the Bunny Thumper Untamed build. It's actually a roamer with quite a bit of chasing potential, though not too much disengage, so it kind of relies on its team to lock down targets with them and to supplement their damage, but it does have a very big one-shot burst combo, which you'll be seeing in this match. So yeah, the Untamed build is probably one of the hardest to get used to because you have to know the ambush skills, you gotta know when to unleash, weapon swap, pet swap, and yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. So I'm gonna pour it in with the Unnatural Traversal here to land my Hammer 5 while I'm not unleashed, which will be a knockdown. And then from there I could have just landed my Maul, but I chose to go for the ambush skill in Greatsword, which is a boon rip. It's pretty nice because it allows you to save your Mauls to follow up on those kills. And now we're going to be chasing the Scrapper. Now I get my cooldowns back when I CC targets, so I have my Unnatural Traversal already back. And as soon as the Scrapper dodges, I precast my Hilt Bash in there with the Unnatural Traversal, which gets the stun. And then I can pet swap into my Drake and then use the Tail Swipe. And that is a huge burst combo there. So that's essentially the one-shot combo there is Hilt Bash with the Unnatural Traversal, pet swap to the Drake, because the Drake will port to you. So if you port and then you pet swap, your pet basically ports. And then yeah, you just do the heavy damage skills of the pet, and you know, it does tons of damage if they don't stun break out immediately. So yeah, getting used to those combos, and that's not the only way you can do it. You know, you could see at the start I did the hammer combo first, and then I did the Hilt Bash combo. So there's definitely different ways to start out. You can see I get a 7k Maul there. I'm getting 1v2'd, so I try to disengage, and I'm just CCing with the hammer while I'm not unleashed. The 3 and 5 are really good because those will get my cooldowns back, and that'll help me to re-sustain while also CCing them so I don't get pressured. I'm going to Unnatural Traversal through the wall, which is not the best because I don't get the reduced recharge, but it's good enough to get the kill at least, which is at the end of the day the end goal. So we get that kill, and the ambush skills also give you like 1,700 lifesteal, which is pretty good sustain. So whenever you can, you do want to land those lifesteal ambush skills just to keep your health high, because otherwise this build is kind of squishy. So I go in, and my pet, I want, yeah, the F3 right here is pretty good as well because that's a projectile blocking field, which is nice against the mech, but I'm going to be outnumbered because of the respawns. I put my smoke field out, and I'm going to use my swoop through it to get stealth. And now I'm going to pet swap and use my heal skill for a lot of boons. And their Weaver is really low here, so I'm just going to spam out my damage. And yeah, the lifesteal from the ambush skills actually adds quite a bit of damage. Like 1,700 with no way to mitigate that is really good. So we get the kills here, but we have to cleave the body without, you know, taking too much damage here. I'm taking quite a bit of pressure just by standing on the node, so I'm trying to be careful, but I do need to cleave that down body. So yeah, they're trying to go for the res, and we're a little bit outnumbered, so I need to go in and maybe use the ambush skill or a CC of some kind. I use the Maul there and the Greatsword ambush skill there, and yeah, we're just cleaving. We have a couple kills here, so that's gonna work out pretty well. But the the Renegade that's with me is gonna go down, and I can't really revive that because it's a Scrapper and they have plenty of cleave. So I'm just gonna wait for that to get stomped out, and I'm just preparing my next burst. I poured in with the Hammer 5. I use the Maul into the Hilt Bash, and then I land my, you can see the Drake did 8,000 damage because it had the Remorseless proc, probably had a moment of clarity, and also my Greatsword 2 will buff the pet's next attack. So all those buffs on the pet make it do quite a bit of damage, and yeah, you can do those one shots like that. So my team is rotating in now. I land a nice Savage Strike slash with the Greatsword there. Just going to give me a little bit of healing and remove some boons on that down body. But I'm just trying to resustain here because I know that my team is already going to get that kill. I see that their team is no longer tunneling into their own home node. So I chase into mid. I use unnatural traversal to get to the wall. And I'm just kiting a little bit because I'm waiting for my combo. And I swoop in. And then I swap to my pet being unleashed. I port the pet to the target. And you can see the nades are being blocked by the projectile block there, which is really nice. I use the hammer, the ambush skill and hammer, which gives me a little bit of damage and lifesteal, as I said. I land a nice maul into Hilt Bash Maul. That did 7,000 damage, so that's really nice. And then I see that I'm getting counter pressured by their respawns, so I do a little bit of a swoop into the F2 of the smoke scale, which gives me stealth, so I can get that stomp without getting too much pressure on me. So now I use the smoke field again and swoop through it, and I'm going to try to hammer 5 through it because that's also a blast, but I get CC'd before I do the hammer and I don't get the blast, so I use my movement skill and I didn't get the stealth, so I'm pretty much dead here. So that's kind of unfortunate, but we're doing pretty well anyways. We got a lot of kills in those fights, and that showed a bit of how the combos really work. So when I respawn, I'll probably head into home. You want to stay with your team. As you can see, when I'm outnumbered like that, it's not going to work out so well. You know, you have Condi Cleanse on swapping from Untamed or Unleashed, but other than that, you know, there's not a lot of Condi Cleanse, which makes this build not great when you're outnumbered because it's easy to lock you down. But we're going to head into mid because they already got the kills there. Their Scrapper is at mid, and our Renegade is coming in here. I'm going to go for the decap first, but I have most of my burst ready, so I'm going to go in for that. I actually don't use the unnatural traversal because it's not needed. I just go in with the hammer 5 and then swap to greatsword and unleash, and then I go into the savage slash there just to finish them off. So instead of going into far, I'm going to regroup with my team, try to get kills with them, see who's the focus target, and just try to lock them down, right? So I'm in the hammer. My smoke scale is out. I'm going to send the smoke scale in with the projectile blocking field just to bait out some cooldowns. Then I'm going to go in with the knockdown, and I don't even need to use any skills there to get the kill because when they're CC'd like that, they just die. And now off of that first kill, you know, we've got 4 players here with our team. We're zerging pretty hard, but that momentum is what you really need on this build because the more you're CCing things and the more you're landing those unnatural traversals, the lower your cooldown. So it's a very momentum based build. It relies on momentum. If you're outnumbered, not able to get those CCs or hit your ambush skills, then you know you're gonna suffer. So at this point, yeah, the match is pretty much won, but we're gonna still head into the far area probably with my team. Yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm playing patiently. You know, we're in a winning position. I don't need to go in and die at far, so I'm just waiting. I see the Mesmer stealths into mid, and my Tempest is going far, so I'm gonna probably go far with them. But instead, yeah, I decide to stay mid with my Mechanist and try to fight their Weaver, and it looks like they're Virtuoso. I'm gonna wait for maybe a couple cooldowns, and I'm gonna go in with the Hammer 5. Land my hammer ambush skill, which doesn't do amazing damage. Probably better to swap in a greatsword there. But yeah, the lifesteal is still pretty decent damage. You don't really notice the lifesteal damage because it doesn't crit, but it's pretty decent still. Now we're just chasing the Virtuoso here, and I put my pet to port through the wall with the unleashed F1, and then I use the hammer ambush skill, which gives me a lot of movement speed to catch up. And as you can see, it's great at chasing targets. So we're going to keep getting those kills and going to go help our Mechanist at mid. They've already got a target for me, so this is ideal because this is exactly the situation that I want to be in. I immediately go in. I just use the hammer 3 because I want to get my other cooldowns back. And it gives me like 2 seconds on all of my cooldowns, not just weapon skills. So even your heal skill gets recharged when you land CCs, so it's pretty nice. And yeah, at this point, the match is pretty much over. So if you like this content, then like the video, subscribe for more, and I will see you all next time.